Look, what's going on, good people? Welcome back to the area, man. Capital Area Human Services own podcast, and it's called The Area. So thank you for stepping back into the area.
Thank you.
Y'all already know, man, we have a special guest I say special guest. She is a special guest, but at the same time, you already know who this is. But at the same time, I'm going to let her introduce herself just in case you don't know.
Hello, everybody. This is Jan Laughinghouse, and I am the Executive Director of Capital Area Human Services.
Yeah, and y'all already know, my name is Ivan Tosin, Certified Peer Support Specialist here at Capital Area Human Services. And yeah, man, so y'all already know, man, this episode is no different than other episodes other than it's just a new topic, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. We always talking about anything regarding mental health or substance use disorder or just having conversations, period, just about health, you know what I'm saying? Health and your well-being, all that good stuff, right?
Yeah.
But today we're gonna do a little something different, man. So what we did is we reached out to the community, right?
Yes.
To get some questions because we know a lot of people, whether you're within the rims of this place or outside of the rims, people have questions in their brains all day long, and they may never ask anybody. You know what I'm saying? They may have a family member or a friend who may be dealing with or challenged with substance use disorder or mental health, and they may have questions and cannot get those things answered for whatever reason. But today,
yes,
we got the executive director of Capital Area Human Services, and not only executive director, but a credentialed executive director who is highly qualified to answer any questions that you may have.
Yes.
So we're gonna jump right into this thing. So we went straight to social media. You heard me?
Yes.
Went to Instagram.
Yes.
And we got a couple people, you know what I'm saying? We got a few people that tagged that and say, hey, look, we got some questions that we need answers to. So the first two questions we're going to dive into, they're kind of, I would describe them as kind of more of the safer questions. And then we'll get into some deep stuff.
Uh-oh. All right.
So the first questions, and we're all about anonymity here, so we're not going to tell you who these people are.
Correct.
But the first person via Instagram asks, at Capital Area, do you offer classes for fathers?
All right. So first of all, I just want to thank you all for engaging with us and asking us questions because we do have active social media. And if you reach out to us, we will reach right back out to you. So it's a good way to get in contact because we do have someone who monitors all of our platforms, and Samia will get in touch with me. Samia. Shout out to Samia, and I will directly answer your questions. So thank you for that, and always engage with us. So the first question: do we offer classes for fathers? Okay, so that is a complicated answer. So I'll start out. Short answer is yes, and I can tell you that we also offer parenting classes, and you do not have to be a client here to receive those services.
Okay.
The classes are at no cost to people out in the community, and they are provided through one of our contractors at Mirror of Grace. And the classes actually focus on issues that are common to parents, you know, understanding and navigating the angst with teenagers, how to help with homework, how to help with behavior issues with younger children. So we do offer those at no cost to anyone who is interested. And so just check out our social media because when the courses are offered, we always advertise those as well. And they're offered ever so often because it's a series and people will get a certificate of completion when they are done. Now, to the fatherhood question, we have a 40-bed residential facility that is for folks who have issues with substance use disorders and may have some mental health diagnoses too. And we do have a fatherhood initiative there because it is a male facility, and we have folks that come in to work with the dad specifically. Now, why do we have parenting classes and a fatherhood initiative? Well, the answer is simple. So folks who have challenges with any type of behavioral health, whether it is a substance use disorder or a mental illness, they have to learn how to navigate their treatment, life every day. And part of that is if it's being a spouse, if it's being a parent, we want to help them do that in the best way possible. So we want to give them all of the information and tools that they need so that they can navigate parenthood.
That's good.
Simple.
So what I will say is that with the first thing you talk about with the parenthood class,
Yes.
I almost feel a nudge to say, you know what, maybe I need to be in that class. Because when you said that help with homework,
Yeah.
hey, look, can I get a witness right now? Look, hey, it's I don't know what to call it. But, you know, I was about to call it the devil. It's really not. I mean, it's good. It's good for the child. But for me, I'm going to tell you, look, I don't know what they doing these days. Like, my daughter is in first grade.
Yes.
That math and stuff she's bringing home, I'm like, I don't even know this.
Yes.
How can I help this 6-year-old girl with this? I feel like I need help.
Yes, I listen, I have 3 degrees and not one of them prepared me. Not one of them prepared me to help a first grader with homework. I can tell you right now, I have to Google it and then sit down and help. I was like, this is on YouTube. I'll watch a little bit and then I can help them. Yeah. So shout out to the teachers, right?
Hey, shout out to the teachers.
So when we're talking about gratitude, right? It's like, this is the month of thankful. Yeah, he's grateful.
I'm grateful.
Listen, if you are able to do that, thank a teacher. Thank a teacher. So I'm grateful for educators.
Almost had a praise break. Hey, look, I mean, real talk though, because once we connected my daughter with I'm about to say mentor, what you call those? Tutor. Oh my God. And see, I've been learning so much from her, watching her work with my daughter.
Yes.
Now it's like, oh, so that's how,
yes.
you just make it look so easy. It's
right.
frustrating for me. I was
That's
like,
right.
and I would feel bad because I don't want to kill her confidence.
Exactly.
By being like, baby, I just told you answer. Answer getting like, well, we just said it 5 minutes ago.
Right.
Why you can't?
Yeah.
You know, it's just, anyways.
And so that's the thing too. It's like we're not educators, and I am. I taught but if you're not an educator, you don't know that your child may have a different learning style from you.
Yeah.
Some people learn visually, some people learn by hearing, some people are kinesthetic and they learn by doing. And so, and just understanding that and a lot of times as parents, we see our children as reflections of us, and so we're personally invested in this. I know you're smart, go ahead and do this. And it has nothing to do with that. Yeah. Lots of times it's just that you're not talking in a way that your child understands. So, so learning to navigate those points of frustration, those pain points, issues with conduct, and relating to your child as they age and their friend group becomes more important and more prevalent and predominant in their life than their family. We deal with all of those issues. So so check us out.
Whew, shout out to Ava Grace. That's my daughter, man. She's definitely improving a whole lot. So Daddy loves you.
Yeah.
You're doing great,
Hi,
baby.
Iva.
Lord, I tell you. All right, so let's move on to the next question. So this was definitely an interesting question.
Okay.
They asked us, who are the psychiatrists on staff?
Okay, who are psychiatrists? So I know my pastor says never start naming names because you're going to forget somebody and then you'll be in trouble. So I don't want to go through naming the names of our prescribers. So what I will do is talk about the treatment team that we have here at Capital Area. And we have, a group of caring, responsive professionals that can help you with the needs that you have. And so we do have psychiatrists actually being medical doctors that can prescribe you medication. So they're medical doctors and their focus is on helping people who have mental illness. Okay. We have psychologists who are also clinical professionals, and they can help you as well navigate living issues, right? And so there's a difference between a psychologist and a psychiatrist. Psychiatrists are medical doctors. And it used to be that psychologists could not prescribe medication, but Louisiana is one of the states actually that actually has clinical psychologists who are prescribing psychologists. So psychologists, if they are certified, actually can prescribe medicine, but that is not true in every state. Louisiana just happens to be one of those states. We do not have any prescribing psychologists on our staff, though, at this time. We also have nurse practitioners, and nurse practitioners are nurses that have advanced training, and they can actually prescribe medication as well. And we actually have therapists, people who do actual therapy. And don't be frightened when I say therapy, right? Therapy doesn't have to be deep and dark or spooky and spiritual. Therapy simply is, therapy, it is. And therapy is just, therapy, when we talk about, from the Greek word therapy, it's just healing. The soul is the psyche, right? And so we say psychotherapy, and anything that is therapeutic is healing, right? And so it's just soul healing when you come into psychotherapy. And so whether they are licensed clinical social workers or they're licensed counselors, they can actually help people navigate living issues. I am a substance abuse counselor, and I'm a clinical social worker. And what I tell folks is, thank you, Ivan. And what I tell folks is that I listen to people, and I put them in a safe, non-judgmental space, and I talk to them, and I help them explore their options.
That's good.
Because a lot of times when people come to us, they are pressed with their backs against the wall. They see nowhere out, and I help them discuss options and help them find the best option for them. Not what I believe, but the best one for them. When you make this decision, you live with it, and if you like it, I love it, and we can go along that way. On our team also, we also have peer support specialists like Ivan, right? And when you talk about being credentialed, I was about to start naming
the other one, but I don't want to forget about it. So shout out to all the certified peer support specialists.
Yes, the certified peer support specialists that we have. And peer support specialists, and they may have formal college training, but the most important thing is that peer support specialists are credentialed by their lived experience, right? And in order to be a peer, it means that you have learned to live with and are now well and are living in recovery. Yeah. You're in recovery, whether from your behavioral health issue, whether it is a substance use disorder or it is a mental illness, you are managing, and you are a walking, living, breathing example of experience, strength, and hope. And so that would be our treatment team here at Capital Area. So I didn't name the folks, but I'll let you know the types of professionals that we have here. And I hope I answered your question. Thank you for your question. And we do, among our psychologists, we do have a child psychologist, and we do have a child psychiatrist here as well.
So I'd have a follow-up question with that. So you mentioned how here in the state of Louisiana, psychologists have this authority, I guess, if you want to say, if that's the right word, is to prescribe.
Yes, authority.
And so if that's the case, then what is the need? And this may be an answer going into the question of what psychiatrists actually do, because if I'm a psychologist and I can do the same thing the psychiatrist can do, then why do I need both, or do you only need that one in this case? Like, how does that work?
Okay, so what this came out of is what a lot of us are facing now, is workforce issues and how to expand the workforce. And so there are not a lot of psychiatrists, a lot of medical doctors who specialize in mental illness and substance use disorders. So when you don't have that, you look at ways that you can expand the workforce. And psychologists are actually trained to understand the anatomy of the brain and issues that go awry that could indicate mental illness, substance use disorder. So they have that training, but they don't have the medical background. And so in trying to address those workforce issues in Louisiana and the states that actually allow prescribing psychologists, it was simply a way to allow them to have allow the people who have needs to have more access by having more people that they could go to. So it's not that they just said, oh, psychologists, you can prescribe now. These psychologists have been through a specific program where they learn about medications, dosing, and things of that nature, so that they can prescribe. And then that there are some limitations because they are not medical doctors on what they can prescribe as well. So, and I won't get into that because I am not a prescribing psychologist, but I'm giving you a high level view of it. And the short answer, Ivan, is you just want to expand the reach of the professionals who can help folks, because we know that the need is great. And in these post-COVID times, and we're saying post-COVID, even though COVID is still out there, and it is still a threat. People are still dying from COVID, but it's not at the magnitude that it is, and we are, adjusting and beginning to turn to regular life. So.
I understand.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yes.
I don't even know what regular life is.
Yes,
no more.
exactly. Because
you get out of that, now you're in a recession, and
we actually have a new normal, right? Yeah.
Lord, what's next? All right. So, here's a question, Dr. Jan. How do you know? Let's talk about substance use disorder. So when you're dealing with individuals who are dealing with drugs, alcohol, as we know it as substance use disorder, how do you know when someone needs help? Like, how can you identify these certain things within this person that give you an indicator? What are the indicators that this person needs help?
Okay. So if we want to know if it's an addiction, right? And so we talk about the 4 C's, and I'll start out with the first one, right? It is loss of control of the urge.
Yeah.
Okay. So people lose the ability to say when they are going to indulge.
That's right.
Before they would just have a few cocktails at a specific time in a specific place. And now they are ducking off to have a drink, in their work truck, or they're keeping a flask in their desk because they need to indulge in the alcohol or whatever substances during the day. There's also using despite negative consequences, and that is the big part, and that's the part that folks don't understand.
Yeah.
And that's what makes addiction, as we call it, addiction, which we call substance use disorders in the treatment field, but what folks know as addiction, that's what makes it look so crazy to us, because people seem to be doing things that are against their own well-being and self-interest, and they are, because their brains are being hijacked.
Yeah.
Cravings. When they now have a strong urge and a desire to go out and get the substance. It's almost overwhelming, and they have these intrusive thoughts that are telling them that they need to go use. Compulsive use of the substance. That's that other C. This is that last C. So I have had clients tell me they can be high as a satellite, but if it's more there to use, they're going to use it. Yeah. So they're not even getting high anymore, but it's this compulsion to use it because it's there.
Yeah.
So loss of control of the urge, craving, compulsive use, and the last one, continuing to use despite negative circumstances. So if you have those going on, you are no longer indulging in social use or recreational use.
Yeah.
This is now problem use.
That's good. Yeah. That's good. I think that helps a lot of the viewers right now, because there are people who may use a certain substance themselves, let's just say alcohol, and sometimes people, may wonder if I have a problem or not, what I'm saying?
That's
and not know how to measure that. But I think if you measure yourself up against those 3 C's, and be honest,
4 C's,
4 C's, I'm sorry,
4 C's.
and be honest with yourself, you will know, or at least that's a good measurement if you want to say, okay, whether you have a problem or not.
And look, and here's one, Ivan, that's really, is real low tech.
Help
if
us
you
out.
can't remember
Help us out.
If the folks around you are asking you, if they're asking questions, if they're saying, you all right,
you're not all right.
You're not all right. You're not all right. If they are expressing concerns, now these are people you love, people who know you. If they are expressing concerns and asking questions.
understand, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you.
Right.
Because what she just said, like, oh, Lord, that was
Didn't you
me.
live it?
That was
Didn't you
me.
live it?
That was everybody looking at me like, why you keep going back and forward? Like,
Exactly.
You good?
Yeah.
You okay?
When they went home, they were leaving you there, right?
Oh, I was leaving early.
Yeah.
Cause I'm about to go do my thing now.
Yeah.
I'm about to really get in there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And you said something. I'm not quoting verbatim, but pretty much it made me think about the insanity, the definition of insanity. You know,
Doing the
as we
same
know,
thing
doing the
over.
same things over and over, expecting different results.
Yeah.
And there's another level that I love to describe as, you know, it's like you have crossed a certain line, because there's also, in my opinion, a such thing as knowing the results.
Yes.
And doing it anyway, which is also insanity. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I know what's about to happen. I know I'm probably going to go to jail.
Yes.
I know I'm probably, you know, but at this point, I've lost all moral, it don't even matter. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all about the next high.
Right. Because what happens, I mean, we're literally dealing with a hijacked brain.
Yeah.
All right. And so when you use psychoactive substances, so anything that affects the mind or the mood, one of the things that it does is it suppresses the prefrontal cortex. Well, what lives in this part of the brain?
Yeah.
Judgment, higher order thinking, impulse control, reasoning. Okay, so if you are using a drug that has hijacked your brain and then it dims the parts that would tell you slow down, don't do that, wait a minute, think about it.
Yeah.
It is a recipe for disaster. And it creates that the behaviors that we see that we don't understand.
Yeah.
But realize that those behaviors, the lying, the manipulation, the using despite negative consequences, not seeming like the person that I grew up with or the person that I raised, that is not the disease. Those are the manifestations of the disease. The disease lives in the brain and it causes those other issues.
That's good. Yeah. That's good. All right. So tell me this, Dr. Jan. So how do you help somebody, like, let's just say, which is very popular, so family members, I got this loved one, you know, uncle, sister, brother, son, whoever it is, and we know they have a problem, and we obviously can see that they need help. We're trying to give them help, and they don't want help. How do you help somebody that doesn't want help or refuses to get help? Like, what do you do in that situation?
You leave them alone.
But that's how do you do that?
It's hard. It's hard. You have to set that boundary. Because first of all, people have rights, and just let me tell you, as a professional, we cannot pick up your loved one against their will and force them into treatment, particularly substance abuse treatment. People come and they ask us about it. Even on with somebody with a mental illness, unless they are going to hurt somebody, hurt themselves, or they're gravely disabled, you know, like unable to make any type of decisions, don't know who they are, where they are, what the year is, what the situation is. That person is gravely disabled. Then we can take them and get them some type of treatment. Outside of that, however they're behaving, they're adults and they have the right. They even have rights to be self-destructive.
Wow.
That's hard for us to understand. And please understand that even as a professional, when I know what the end could possibly be, it is difficult for me, but I give people the space and I try to give them the information that they need to make healthier decisions for themselves. But at the end of it, people have to have an intrinsic desire to change, some type of motivation. Now, I'm not saying, Ivan, that everybody has to go say, you know what, my life's not going well right now, and I think that I'll just give this up. That's not everybody. Some people do come to it like
percentage.
that. Yeah, very, very low, right? Some people, as my clients have taught me down here in Louisiana, they'll say, I just want to get off paper. I'm like, what is that? You know,
all them papers.
Yeah. So they got probation, parole. The judge is on them. I just want to get off paper, okay? So that's a reason to come in and see me, and we work out a plan so you can get through the requirements that they have for you so they can get out of your life. Or, you know, we have a women's program that we have, and many of the women are referred here from Family Preservation Court or DCFS because they've had drug exposed infants. And so sometimes becoming a mother or the threat of losing the child can actually be the impetus, what is going to take me to get into treatment. Not that I ever thought about giving up substances, but this situation now is giving me the ability to go ahead and get into treatment. And so I've seen people lay a foundation for long-term sobriety simply because they had outside motivation. We have had people who come here because work has sent him here.
Yeah.
The employee assistance program. She's having issues. She came to us for help, and they're not gonna fire me because I came for help. So I want to get straight so I can keep my job. I have a whole career. So comes down to the person has to want help, Ivan, and that's hard for people to understand. It really is.
Man, and I'll tell you from personal experience, that was definitely my case. In most people's case that I know, is that there had to be some, like you said, just this motivation, something that and even with that motivation, like off the back, like your desires are gonna be like split. You know what I'm saying? Because any person that's in the midst of, just in the grips of that just brutal addiction, that you need help.
Yes.
But at the same time, I don't want it this way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I would rather not go through this 30, 40 days or whatever. Like, I got to go do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want help, but I just wanted the easy way, right? And so, but, I thank God for those interventions, what I'm saying, whether that's through the local law enforcement or your job, whatever it is, because for certain people and for a lot of us, we don't get our mind right without impunities, and that's big book language. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, that's right.
We need impunities, honestly, to help us to start to put us in a position where we now can do nothing but think. And now consider where we're going from here, you know what I'm saying? And begin to deal with those things that are on the inside of us, resentments and, everything that, the big book talk about.
The living issues that are under the substance use. Yeah.
A lot
of living issues under substance use. And that's why it's not just being abstinent, because you can stop the substance use. One of the things they say in 12-step fellowship is that what do you get when you put a lying, cheating horse thief in rehab? You get a sober, lying, cheating horse thief. Yep. Right? So you got to deal with the living issues that are underneath, and you got to deal with the wreckage of your former life, and that's big book language too, because if you now have a criminal record, if you now have the inability to get a job, if you have damaged friendships, damaged relationships, family relationships, you have to mend those as well. So it's going to take some work. Recovery is about uncovering and discovery, and it is an inside job.
That's right. Yeah, that's good.
Inside job.
So we're going to be wrapping this up soon. I think this is a good place to transition before we land the plane. Sure. And because this brings me, y'all see the shirt, grateful. Yes. You know what I'm saying? It's the month of Thanksgiving, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so just to pivot a little bit, and because this really brings me into remembering, or in identifying reasons for being grateful. Yes. Even at this moment, as we have this conversation, my mind goes back to sitting in a rehabilitation center, and my father, and mother at the time, coming there for our first family meeting.
Yes, yeah.
And so. And my dad sitting across from me and telling me words that I needed to hear so bad.
Yes.
And those words were, I love you.
Yes.
And I'm proud of you.
Yep.
Because at that point in my life, I felt unlovable.
Yes.
I felt like nobody was proud of me.
That's right.
And those are things I didn't hear.
That's
what
right.
I'm saying? So,
That's
and when you hear the exact opposite, well, I can't believe that because I've been told different. You know what I'm saying? Right. And so But anyways, man, it always makes me think about, or having this comment makes me think about that moment and what that did internally for me at that time, and how that changed the trajectory of my life, just the path that I was on. And so, and just receiving those things that I need to receive, and so I'm so grateful for everything, that God has brought me through. Even the if I had to do it all over again, I would do it the same, honestly.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Like some people be like, oh, I would never do that. No, look, I wouldn't be who I am without it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it hurt. Yeah, it was messed up, a lot of bad stuff. But guess what? We are who we are today because of it. You know what I'm saying? And so I am grateful for that. Dr. Jen, what are you grateful for?
Well, Ivan, I am grateful for you and folks like you. I really, really am. I am not in personal recovery, but I kind of fell into addiction, and I saw the most beautiful, resourceful, intelligent, knowledgeable, funny folks I have ever met in my life, and they had this sickness that was squeezing the light out of their eyes.
Yeah.
And I began to hate the disease. And and I'm here, and so I'm grateful for recovery. I'm grateful for life, health, and strength, and my family, and my faith is extremely important to me. So I am grateful. I'm grateful. Just that I'm here. That I'm here.
That is good. Here. Yeah, I want to give a assignment to our viewers, right? This was when we think about the art of being gratitude, and really it's something that you have to be intentional about.
Absolutely.
For I believe everyone, but definitely for people who may be more on a natural pessimistic side.
Absolutely.
And so
glass half full.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And I was one of those people, and so I'm telling you work that I've had to do myself. And so one thing that I learned, especially in the realms of recovery, is that you get a sheet of paper, get you a pen, pencil, color, crayon, I don't care, whatever, write, and you can read it, right? And so on one side, you write what you're grateful for.
Gratitude is.
On the other side, list all the reasons that you're not grateful. You know what I'm saying? And so for one, a lot of us are going to probably need about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sheets. And then on that side, other side, you may only have about 3 things.
Yeah.
Honestly. I mean, most people are not going to have 20 things you probably can think of it, but realistically, it's going to be a few things.
Right.
And you got a lot of things, but that shows you the work that you have to do every day to combat all this negativity that you have going on in your life or in the world, whatever it may be. Right. And so every day you wake up, you have these 3 things that you need to focus on. But being intentional about it, by writing it down, I know for me, it was a case where I had to put it by my mirror, put it in my pocket, pull it out my pocket midday, read it to myself. You know what I'm saying? This is the reason why I'm grateful. And I know for me, what it began to do was to train me how to gear my thoughts towards positivity instead of negativity. Because before then, if you just let my mind go, it was just negative, 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 negative. And I became comfortable in misery as well. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I welcome that because it was like that was what I knew.
Familiar.
Very familiar.
That's familiar pain, and you'll court it and you'll go find it. And it's like if you stay focused there, that is what you're gonna get. If you say, "Oh, my life is bad and everything's gonna go wrong," well, you're right, because that's
what you say.
Because you will do what you say, and everything will respond to your expectations, right? Because that is what you are putting out, and that is what is going to crop up, because it is going to guide all of your thoughts, all of your emotions, and all of your behaviors. So it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. It fulfills itself. You put it out there, and then you act on it.
I like how you say crop up.
Yes,
you got to sow the right seeds.
That's it.
Man.
Sow good seeds.
That's powerful. So all of y'all out there, man, including myself, I don't mind doing it all over again, because guess what? Every day is new inspiration for me.
Absolutely.
And so I encourage you, you know what I'm saying? And it may be some other way that you find gratitude. That's fine. But do something, whether that's picking up that pen and that sheet of paper, writing those things down that you're grateful for, and being intentional about focusing on those things, or just find things that you may like to do, or new things that may put you in a position or in an atmosphere to feel grateful, be grateful, or get around people who are grateful. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get around people who all they do is talk about people all day.
Please don't.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Like, I run.
Please don't.
I run. Like,
please.
I want to hear you, what you got to say about whoever, like that stuff, like, no, I'm not gonna stop you from doing it, but I don't want to do it, so I'm gonna just dismiss myself and go find somebody who's talking about something good.
That's it. That's it. Leave them. Look, in social work, we're always telling people, to meet people where they are, and that's what I try to do. But I'll tell you, I'll add something to it. Yeah. Meet people where they are and be prepared to leave them there. Everybody can't go where you're going, right? So you can't soar like an eagle down here pecking with the chickens. Right, so if you can't change the people, if you can't change the people around you, change the people you're around, and that's what you're saying. Go find you somebody else to be around.
Please do.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, I think that's a wrap.
I guess that's our time together. It went fast, didn't it?
It did. Yeah. Look, we want to thank y'all for stepping back into the area, man. Look, we want to wish everybody out here a happy Thanksgiving. Happy holidays, man. Look, don't eat too much, you know what I'm saying? Now, I'm telling you that, but I'm probably gonna do it. But look, I got back into training and stuff, so hey, look, my body just want to consume a lot, so that's my justification, and I'm sticking by it, right? So, but look, man, y'all have a blessed and a happy Thanksgiving. We cannot wait to see you until the next episode.
Take care and be well.
Peace. Holla for $1. Snoop Dogg? No, I'm just playing.